Nazi Germany's war strategy was famously dependent on speed. In September of 1939 they crushed most of the Polish military in a matter of days. The following summer, France was defeated in the matter of weeks, and in the summer of 1941, Hitler's soldiers managed to penetrate fast and deep into the Soviet Union. This was not only dependent on rapidly moving tanks and trucks, but also that the soldiers of the Reich could move fast over long distances with or without enemy opposition. In the beginning of the invasion of France in 1940, the Germans famously attacked through the Ardennes forest and in just 11 days managed to penetrate a staggering 240 miles into France, pushing on both day and night. The key to this rapid advance? Methamphetamine. In the 1936 Olympics in Berlin, Nazi chemists became aware of the American amphetamine pill, Benzedrine, which was used as a performance-enhancing drug. Already the following year, German chemist Friedrich Hochschild managed to create a synthesized version, which was to be known as methamphetamine. Hochschild was employed at the Berlin-based pharmaceutical company Temmler-Werke, and they started manufacturing and selling meth in late 1937 under the name Pervitin. It became an instant success, partly due to Temmler's aggressive marketing campaign, and the fact that you could buy these pills without a prescription. Germans could even buy chocolate spiked with meth, which further boosted sales. As Pervitin pills became famous for giving the user a boost of both energy and confidence, people in high places in the German government became interested. One of these was Otto Ranke, director at the Research Institute of Defense Physiology. Ranke and his colleagues had been assigned with the task of identifying how to enhance the German soldiers' performance on the battlefield. Ranke quickly identified Pervitin as a possible enhancer, making them capable of fighting harder and faster for a longer period of time. Ranke himself used Pervitin on a daily basis, claiming it made him capable of working up to 2 days straight. At Ranke's advice, the German army started testing Pervitin on soldiers in the 3rd Tank Division during the German invasion of Czechoslovakia in 1938. As the Czechoslovakian military provided little resistance against the Nazi soldiers, very little knowledge on Pervitin's usefulness on the battlefield was gained. The Germans only had to wait until September of 1939 to learn significantly more about Pervitin's effectiveness, when Germany invaded Poland and introduced the world to a brand new concept of warfare. Blitzkrieg. Lightning War. Where both men and tanks with massive air support would strike fast, hard, coordinated and surprising against the enemy. The weakest link in this plan was initially the foot soldiers, who was not close to be able to march and charge over the same distances as the mechanized and flying components of the attacking force. This is where Pervitin came in handy, significantly improving the weakest link in the Nazi battle plans, making them capable of crushing everything the Poles sent against them. As Christmas 1940 was approaching, the alarm bells was ringing, as the Nazi pharmaceutical authorities made Pervitin a prescription-only drug. This had little to no effect on its use, which continued to grow as the Nazi government was too busy waging war to fight illegal drug sales at home. In the spring and summer of 1940, production reached its peak of more than 830,000 pills produced in a single day. Most of it was shipped directly to the military, who distributed it among its fighting men. The Air Force and the armored forces even had their own brands of meth chocolate. When Germany invaded France in the summer of 1940, they famously outflanked the Franco-British defenses at the Maginot Line by marching the army through the Ardennes forest, which the Allies believed to be impossible to advance through fast, due to its density. The Germans, however, advanced a staggering 35 kilometers every day for 11 days, day and night, pushing both men and armor through the thick forest, swinging around the Allied armies fortifying the Maginot Line south of the Argonne forest all the way to Switzerland. This was distances that only cavalry forces had managed to advance in previous wars. Before the Battle of Antietam in 1862, Confederate forces marched the similar distance in a day, and arrived weary for the battle. The Germans, packed with much heavier war gear than the scarcely outfitted Southerners, advanced the same distance for 11 days, even while encountering Allied resistance. The next year, during the invasion of the Soviet Union, the German army advanced 500 kilometers in just 18 days before trashing the Soviet army at the Battle of Smolensk in present-day Ukraine. Germans that used Pervitin during the war later recalled being able to stay awake for 3 straight days while feeling little to no fatigue. And probably equally important, little to no fear. Perhaps the most fascinating story of Pervitin use during the war comes from Finland. The Finnish soldier Aimo Koivunen was on patrol in Finnish Lapland when his outfit was surprised by Soviet soldiers. As the Finns tried to escape, Koivunen felt increasingly fatigued, and went for a Pervitin tablet in his breast pocket. As he wore winter mittens, he struggled to get only one, and as he was increasingly weary and was being chased by Soviet soldiers, time was not on his side. Somehow he accidentally swallowed his entire outfit's supply of Pervitin. A total of 30 tablets. According to his own testimony, Koivunen felt like he was reborn. After a while, Koivunen lost his consciousness, and the next thing he remembered was that he came to his senses about 100 kilometers away. He had lost his patrol, his food and ammunition. Koivunen spent the next few days hallucinating and strived on to reunite with his patrol. He thought he might have had a fight with a group of Soviet soldiers, but this also might have been just another hallucination. His trip ended when he stepped on a landmine and lost his leg. As he was unable to move, he lay in a ditch and was eventually found by fellow Finnish soldiers. It is believed that Koivunen must have skied for at least 400 kilometers before he stepped on the mine. Soon after the capitulation of France, news of negative side effects came from all over the German military. A lieutenant colonel in the German panzer forces reported severe heart pains after taking Pervitin 4 times a day, for several weeks. The commander of a German panzer division, along with several other German officers, were rushed to hospitals, suffering heart attacks. Because of this, the German army cut back severely on the use and production of Pervitin during the fall of 1940, and the use sharply declined for several years. Even though the German High Command was highly aware of the negative side effects, Pervitin was issued to the German military for the duration of the war, and used all the way through the Battle of Berlin until the German surrender in May 1945.